For pretty much my whole life, I was always baffled by the sports ball fans. I never really got it, you know. You don't play that particular sport or on that team. You don't know anybody on that sport or on that team. The team changes. It's not like it's the same people all the time. It's always changing. But people get fanatical and identify with it, and they go nuts. They're fans of this team. Go team, right? Never got it. I never understood it. Until now, I'm starting to kind of get it a little bit. And it has to do with Dodge, Chrysler, and things that they've been doing. You know, the Demon was neat. No question about it. Now, I've said before on this channel, I don't feel any allegiance to the company itself. I don't identify with any of their new cars, the new Challengers, the new Chargers, the new Hemis. They're okay, but to me, there's no connection. There's no direct connection between my Mopars, or the Mopars I'm interested in those. It's by name only, by concept only. Sort of like when you're aligned with a sports ball team. But now, I see this new program that they've come up with, this new direction, and I'm becoming a real fan. Not that I want to go out and buy one, not that I want to, go hot rod a new. It's for other people, they're into that. But I'm becoming a fan of what the company is doing, and I'm identifying with it, like they're talking my language. I guess I'm the demographic they're really going after. So, and they're coming close. So the thing I'm talking about now was announced last week. Dodge is bringing back the Direct Connection name. Right? Now, if you're of my Mopar generation, the Direct Connection was a sacred thing. It was something we had that nobody else did. Direct Connection wasn't just a parts catalog. Direct Connection was a book that we refer to as the Bible. I don't have a copy of it here. It was a yellow covered book, and it had all of these bulletins in it. All of these bulletins, and I have some in here to show you. It had all of these various bulletins that were written by the Chrysler engineers to give the enthusiast, the guy who's following the stuff, we're building his own car, some insight. This is what we learned from racing. This is the parts to use. Here's the formula to do this, this, and this. And a lot of it is very antiquated and very dated now. But you remember in those days, in the 70s, we were much more innocent. There was much less information available. So like any little kernel of insight was like precious. So the Direct Connection bulletins look like this. And this one here, now people think it was only about drag racing or high performance stuff, but Direct Connection, fuel economy tune-up tips. So these were, this is during the first gas crisis. This is from the beginning of 1974, so this was published sometime in 1973. And it was a collection of tips and, concepts, things you could do, parts you could try to get better gas mileage out of your Chrysler product. So, we should figure out some way to reprint these things and get them out there. It's from June 1974. So they're talking about things like decreasing oil pressure for less parasitic loss, adding a windage tray to cut down, all of these little things about parasitic losses. And it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. Then you had the more hardcore stuff. Here's the 426 Hemi Racing Manual. This is from June 1973. Now, this is before they started calling it Direct Connection. These bulletins were available from the dealer, but before they became, quote, Direct Connection in 1974, where they compiled it all and gave it a name. But this is pre-Direct Connection, 426 Hemi Racing Manual. And again, a lot of this stuff is very dated because they're talking about setting up the cars for classes and types of racing and so on and so forth that aren't really relevant anymore, and they're dealing with parts that have been like evolution has kind of put to the back. But still, there's golden kernels of info here. And in the 70s, we were, this is it. It was like, this is, the gods are talking directly to us. They're telling us, they're giving us the inside dope. It was the thing we had as Mopar guys, Direct Connection, over everybody else, and it was like our religion. The yellow book was called the Bible. So you also had The parts catalogs. So this is one from 1976. And here's all of the stuff that was available over the counter. You go to any dealer. And even in here, they would give you, even in the parts thing, they would give you basic tech tips. Really fantastic stuff. And the camshafts. We're going to talk about the camshafts in a minute because that's a Mopar myth we need to get to the bottom of here. So at any rate, this is what Chrysler was doing in the 70s. And direct connection was our thing. In the 1980s, they dropped the direct connection name and they went with Mopar Performance. And that's everything we've had for the last 40 years, really, 35, 40 years. Bringing back the direct connection name and some of the concepts from that era is what Chrysler's doing now. So the program is called Never Lift. Right? Okay, yeah, they're speaking directly to me now, right? Just don't lift. Just bam, in the carpet and don't. So it's called Never Lift. In the golden days, by the way, before direct connection, before all this, there was a thing called the hustle stuff. So if you bought, let's say it was 1971, and you had a 69 Roadrunner and you wanted to put a six-pack setup on it, you would go to the Chrysler Hustle Stuff catalog, and that's where all of those parts were available. Then it later on became direct connection. So part of this Never Lift program is they're setting up dealerships across the country as what they call power broker centers, where you'll be able to go and people will be trained specifically towards the performance aspects of your car. Very similar to the performance clinics that Chrysler did in the late 1960s and the early 1970s. And back then they had, Sox and Martin, Jake King would go and do seminars at Plymouth dealerships. Dick Landy would go and do seminars at Dodge dealerships. And if you were messing with a Chrysler product, you can go to your local Dodge dealer, your local Plymouth dealer, and get like inside information. These guys would answer all your questions and give you tips and so on and so forth and how to. So Dodge is reviving that now with this power broker program, which I think is pretty neat. Then on top of that, in the 60s and the 70s, Chrysler relied on names in NHRA drag racing that ran in classes like Super Stock and then later Pro Stock. But those days are long gone, and all things related to, let's say, the NHRA are irrelevant now. They don't really. Today's media is driven, or today's influence is driven by things like YouTube and influencers. So what Chrysler is doing is, over the next however many months it is, they're going to give away 25 Hellcats to various YouTube or video influencers, which is, I think, is a neat thing. It's a way to get their word out, the same way, like this is when they used to sponsor Sox and Martin, let's just say. They were reaching out to the people. The magazines covered all of this stuff. These were household names in the hot rod universe. And today, it's YouTube influencers. So Chrysler's going directly to them. And like I said, they're handing out 25 Hellcats to people who are doing the thing. And then they got this, right? Listen to this one. They're hiring a guy. They want to hire one guy that they're going to call the chief donut maker. All right? So get this one, right? The job pays $150,000 a year. They're going to give you $150,000. They're going to give you a Dodge Hellcat, and they're going to pay you to just go around the country making donuts. I mean, it's a little crazy, right? But they're looking for the chief donut maker. What a fantastic over-the-top concept. When every other manufacturer is trying to shove this, electric stuff, green stuff, everything down everybody's throat, Chrysler's running the other way and saying, no, let's have some fun with this stuff. Never lift, I'm becoming a fan. I get it. I'm starting to get it. I have no desire to own a Hellcat. I have no desire to own a new Challenger. I have no desire to do anything with a late Hemi. But I'm loving what they're doing, and I'm loving watching it. I'm a spectator watching this the same way a sports ball spectator watches their favorite team. Well, I'm watching my favorite team gain some serious ground over the competition. This is fun stuff. And Dodge, if you're listening, right, I'm going to nominate somebody for the chief donut maker. I think this guy would be perfect for you. Look up Dylan McCool. He has a YouTube channel. He's a hardcore Mopar guy, good kid, excellent kid, great personality. I think he would make the perfect chief donut maker. So it's all good stuff. I'm enjoying this. It's fun. They're really going in the opposite direction. It's good stuff. There's some hope for the future, at least, right? we were talking about Mopar cams. So here's the myth, okay? So I see the reference, I see references all the time, and people ask me questions about, should I put a Mopar purple cam in my car? Oh, God. There's no such thing as a Mopar purple cam. Here's what happened, right? Chrysler, through the direct connection program back in the day, used to offer camshaft packages for every engine. So from a slant six, small block, big block, Hemi, even then later on the 2.2s, 2.5s, they offered camshaft packages for these engines. And the cams, what they all had in common was that they had a purple, like they were misted with a purple paint. Now, it was, I'm thinking it was some way to identify them at, let's say, the foundry or the grinder, that, okay, these shafts are going to be ground, for this deal that's separate from the regular production. I think that's what it was. I don't know. But there was never any significance to the camshafts being purple, other than, like I said, they were misted with like a purple paint. They also didn't have their specifications stamped into the cam. There would be a splash of paint on the back. So you'd have a pink splash or a yellow splash, an orange splash, a blue splash, and based on that little dab of paint is what the lift and duration and lobe separation and all that was on that. All the specs of the cam. You would have to know what color corresponded to that. So there was no such thing as a Chrysler purple cam. And in fact, if you go, I checked here, they don't even mention in this issue here, where they talk about in the camshaft categories, they don't even mention the purple thing or the purple shaft, but they were purple at that time. It was later on, I guess just it became the thing that if you were buying a cam from Chrysler, it was purple, and so they started to refer to them as purple shafts. So that was it. There is no specific purple Chrysler camshaft. Just all the dealer available camshafts, performance cams, all had that purple paint on them. So that's what that was. So that's it. Current events, right? With all of the doom and gloom and all of the lousy stuff that's happening in the world today, it's a little ray of sunshine. Thank you, Dodge. You made me smile. I'll see you tomorrow.